And this is News Tonight. My name is Keminni, Amanor. Coming up this evening, we won't have anything to do with new Ayawaso West Wuogon MP. Neither will we recognize her as minority walks out of ceremony to swear in and march 2.23 kilometers to protest violence against one of their own. Also coming up tonight, parents must be interested in what their children are doing online, as UNICEF report shows that 66% of children go on the internet to socialize. A little later on the broadcast, we'll tell you how government is all set to roll out the policy which will ensure that at least 50% of Ghanaians have access to safe and environmentally friendly LPG. We've got these stories and plenty others over the next 60 minutes here on News Tonight. I'm grateful for your company. Tonight, we'll begin with Insight. Now, the minority in Parliament has justified its decision to boycott the swearing-in ceremony of newly elected Ayawaso West Wuogon MP, Lydia Seyram Alhassan, branding her as a bloody widow. The NDC MPs walked out of the chamber in protest of violence that characterized the by-election, ushering Madam Lydia into the legislature.
Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon.
Before leading his charges out of the chamber, Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak explained the move is in protest of brutalities meted out to some NDC supporters during the by-election last week, where over 18 people sustained gunshot wounds from some purported national security operatives. Muntaka Mubarak decried the inaction from the police over the matter.
Unfortunately, and in commemoration to support our comrades and citizens that were unnecessarily hurt and brutally assaulted, I'm sorry to say that with your indulgence, our side of the house cannot be here to witness this swearing.
Deputy Majority Leader Sarah Ayawaso reprimanded the NDC MPs over the reaction, arguing brandishing of bloody widow inscribed placards is an insult to widowhood.
The Speaker, we have said time and over again about bringing in placards in this chamber. And Mr. Speaker, the writings on those placards are so distasteful.
Who had been invited by the police over the brutality he suffered at the hands of the armed marksmen deployed during the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election. The NDC MPs trekked from Parliament to the police headquarters
looking at this call for an annulment of the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election, a call that has been made by the opposition NDC. We have seen the minority MPs walk out of Parliament to the police CID because of this. Now, the idea is we have a conversation with the MPs, find out how their meeting with the police went as far as their concerns are concerned, and also find out from them, will they go to court on this matter? We know what we have to do here. No need to create a room for mayhem. But until then, let's take a look at some other stories. Now, leader of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, has taken a swipe at the Interior Minister and the police, describing them as clueless and incompetent. Hassan Ayariga wants to be heard, joining in on the condemnation that have already come in on the heels of the Ayawaso violence. He says the security institutions have failed the nation.
Our national security is a disaster and can't deliver any intelligent information for the nation.
These unreserved comments by the leader of the All People's Congress was to echo his displeasure with the security agencies in the country. According to Hassan Ayariga, Ghanaians under the NPP have been living in fear because security couples are clueless as to how to manage the crime wave.
Current NPP government under President Nana Addo has appointed a national security minister, a national security coordinator, a national security advisor to the president, a minister of state in charge of national security, an IGP, a defense minister, and an interior minister. All these men are part of the 112 appointees of His Excellency the President, and yet we have witnessed the worst time and dark days of rampant killings and assassination in this country, coupled with the threatening media personnel and vandalism.
Dr. Hassan Ayariga says the president, who was empowered by the Section 1 of the National Security and Intelligence Act 1960 as the chairman of the Security Council, has failed to protect the citizenry.
Mr. President, as the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, you have failed Ghanaians. You have exposed your country and its citizens to danger, political insecurity, attacks, and indiscipline. Ghana is no longer the peaceful country it used to be, and God save Ghana.
He is calling for the constitution to be amended to give the security institutions power of autonomy. This, he believes, will reduce the powers of the president to intervene in security administration. He wants the findings of investigations into the kidnapping cases, Swali's death, and that of the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election made accessible to the public.
Let's spend some time in the courts now. A 7-member Supreme Court panel, presided over by Justice Julius Ansah, has dismissed an application by the editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper, Abdul Malik Kwekubako, challenging the removal of the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei, from office by President Akufo-Addo. My colleague Wilberforce Asare was in court and he is here with me in the studio now. What were the court's reasons, Wilberforce?
Well, so Keminni, essentially with the Kwekubako case, the Supreme Court is saying that the 1992 Constitution, and specifically Article 146, which was the basis upon which Madame Charlotte Osei was removed from office, is clear and unambiguous, and that Mr. Kwekubako and his lawyers failed to show clearly the need for any constitutional interpretation as far as that provision is concerned. And so, based on that, the Supreme Court dismissed the case outright.
What was the argument from the plaintiff?
Well, so Kwekubako and his lawyers essentially were saying that, first of all, we do know that it was a petition that triggered the setting up of a committee by the Chief Justice to probe the entire matter. Mr. Bako is insisting that that process of petitioning based on Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution was not done properly, and that because the committee that was set up by the Chief Justice based its decision or its recommendations to the president to remove the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission based on that petition, the entire exercise should be declared null and void because the petitioners did not follow due process based on Article 146. That was the crux of their argument. Okay. However, the Supreme Court disagrees with them.
Thinks otherwise. But it wasn't the only case that was heard in court today. We had one that had to do with the special prosecutor. He was removed as a defendant in his own case. Why?
Well, so there's indeed, and the issue about it is that the applicant, Dr. Dominic Ayene, as it were, sued both the Attorney General and Mr. Martin Namidu as an individual. Okay. Now, the Supreme Court, and for that matter, an argument by the Attorney General's representative, Godfrey Damen, who is the Deputy Attorney General, indicated that to the extent that Mr. Martin Namidu is appointed special prosecutor based on the recommendation of the Attorney General, there is no way Mr. Martin Namidu is acting in his own capacity. And so if you sue the Attorney General, you have sued Mr. Martin Namidu. And that was the argument they brought before the Supreme Court. The other side said that no, they think that the decision of the court will affect Mr. Martin Namidu directly, and so they think that he's a proper party in the case. The Supreme Court disagrees with that argument and agrees with the Deputy Attorney General that the Deputy Attorney General is right by saying that if you sue the Attorney General, you have automatically sued the special prosecutor. And so Mr. Martin Namidu's name was struck out from the suit. What it means is that the parties are now the Attorney General and
the former Attorney General.
Exactly.
And the former Attorney General.
Absolutely.
Interesting case,
and
isn't it?
Another former Attorney General has been removed because Mr. Martin Namidu himself has also been an Attorney General.
A case of Attorney Generals. A case of Attorney Generals. But what is the crux of the matter? What exactly is Dominic Ayene looking for in this case?
So his argument is that Mr. Martin Namidu, at the time of his appointment, was 67 years old. And based on provisions in the 1992 Constitution, if you are more than 65 years, you cannot serve as a public servant. And so to the extent that Mr. Martin Namidu has been appointed by the appointing authority, and here the president, at the age of 67, to act in the capacity as special prosecutor, which to them is a public service office, Mr. Martin Namidu's appointment is null and void. And so they are asking the court to declare same.
We'll see how that case pans out. But we also know that there was the issue with some foreign boots, particularly U.S. military boots on ground. That case was also called today. How did it go?
Well, so that case actually has 3 different applications before the Supreme Court. And so the Supreme Court decided to consolidate all the 3 into one case. And so the prominent one that everybody has been talking about is the one that was filed by the Ashanti Regional Youth Director for the National Democratic Congress, Jimfi, and he was in court himself. But now the 3 cases have been consolidated, and the parties in all the 3 cases have been asked to file a joint memorandum of issues. And so once that is done, we expect that the Supreme Court will hear the oral arguments of the parties and probably set a date to give its ruling as far as the ratification of the U.S.-Ghana Compact is concerned.
Very well. Wilberforce.
So for the past 5 years, despite being heavily pregnant, she climbs and descends this slopey mud to fetch from the river. A borehole has now been constructed for residents of Dainsuso under the China-aided Ghana 1,000 Boreholes project. The $20 million project will impact about 5,000 households in remote areas, offering them clean water in 10 regions of the country.
People in many places of Ghana have no clean and potable drinking water. Many people fall sick because of unclean and untreated water found in drinking water ponds.
We acknowledge, Excellency, the immense contribution this project will have in the water service delivery to the people of Ghana for the next decade and beyond.
But the paramount chief of Dainsuso, Bafo Eduamayao, says his community deserves a pipe-borne water and not a borehole. According to him, the Ghana Water Company has already laid pipe tubes in the community. But since 1979, not a drop has flowed through, despite serving other communities.
The revenue, one give free water was no offer the emerald. Now, up a normal two soon be my media and some from the Luna to a man. Me him say revenue free services 1976, 1977. Revenue, 100. Those who are in Yabino. When you bet 2 pumping station, or high in Yabino. What about you? So my now on fire, yes, the revenue here on for my
50 of the boreholes will be connected to electricity and fueled to solar power. Evelyn Araba Edu, Dane Suso.
Let's come back to the capital city, Accra, where the president's quest to make it the cleanest city in West Africa by 2020 is in limbo in parts of the capital. Take Teshi, for instance. A visit showed its biggest drain is engulfed in filth and feces. My colleague GHOne has more in the following report.
This is Teshi, the 9th most populous settlement in Ghana. As a consequence of the huge population, the community is bedeviled with issues of poor sanitation. The area is also beset with poor drainage systems, high unemployment, teenage pregnancy and poverty. A visit to the area exposed the shocking, threatening and poor sanitary conditions the people live with daily. I guess you would have expected that this particular drainage system will contain just water. But the situation here at Teshi is different because this particular drainage system has been engulfed or covered with filth here. And exactly as you can see on your screens, some of the things include the likes of rubber, some rubbers, some polythene bags, and also some bottles or plastics, which we know makes it very difficult to be swept away by the water or the drain here. Now, another perennial problem for people here is that some people also come here to defecate in this particular drainage system. Now, exactly as you can see, these are some feces which has been left here by people who came to defecate here into the drains. Ajose sells pork in larger quantities close to the drain and explains his frustration with the insanitary situation. The situation he lamented sometimes affects his sales.
If baby ne bedma inti umra umfife mra no panana o mai don be campaign for betma bomodina o ma be claim a na ka tembia so o ma timi so enya o mo kasa kire se mu bia ma yesa de bia am sen kebeboa.
Residents who live closer to the drain are also affected by the issue and present with malaria and cholera cases at the hospital.
Me yari pa mami papa bi wa ana doctor me me bad ana yari kwa health insurance no ye cost to mu hwe ka ba te be fi entunka papa no ha no ye drugstore no hwe pa me me balanka nyanyam yanka ka ye fe me won no malaria e do about say 5:30 da untimi ntena bonten. This is what do my now. Must go ready by a crowd so clan to me now every day. Yentimi Yashi said, got an sutua, won't mean Montin did it. Then be a Maria, then be a Maria.
The residents disclosed that whenever they confront perpetrators who dump and defecate into the drains, they get assaulted orally.
Say, I can't know with the diantam. There in your hand, yefi. Bola she and yet any better boiler. No more flower yellow. Another baby them they be another woman for hospital and yeah my hand into your slap we catch on says boy hand container say the ball go ha na anya ntokwa no mo yaye yes sremo they say obi obesisi American also be mudua kwa ba be mudua tie omu the ball afri no wa ni toilet bibi ano mu de abegu a omu fi say yaye ba ha no ye na ehwegu uko kape ye say ha na wudan wo aha na wudan na rapa fita.
The residents are thereby pleading with the MCE and the assemblywoman of the community to desilt the drain and save them from mosquitoes and the stench. For GHOne News, Kweku Adiama Ansa.
Let's get back on the politics trail. Our earlier conversation about how the minority MPs walked out of the swearing-in of Lydia Seyram Alhassan MP for Ayawaso West Wuogon and rather visited the police CID. Ningo Pram MP, Sam George, was of the entourage that went to the police headquarters. He's joined us via telephone to tell us how their meeting with the police went. Good evening, Sam.
Good evening, Keminni.
And so how did this meeting with the police go?
Well, I received an invitation from the police CID this morning, and I was accompanied by my colleagues in the minority. The meeting went quite well. We engaged them. They said they would like to have a statement from me as part of their investigations into the unfortunate incidents that happened on Thursday, 31st of January 2019. So we indicated our willingness to cooperate with the police service. And so, yes, I'm working with my lawyers to furnish the police with what we know.
In the past, I've heard from some executives of your party as to why you didn't want to report the case in the first place, because you didn't trust the police to do an objective investigation into the matter. Do I take today's engagement with the police as a change of heart, perhaps giving the police a chance?
Well, like I said, I'm a member of parliament, and when I get notification from the police service that they would like to have a discussion or a conversation with me regarding an investigation that they are carrying, I would not want to be cited for obstruction of justice. So our position about not necessarily having absolute trust in the police is up to the police to erase that notion with their activities or their investigation. We made the point clear to them. The police was also very forceful in the position that they would run an impartial investigation. And so we are waiting to see how the investigation goes. We've indicated to them that if after 7 days we do not see any action, we would come back to them to demand action.
I see. Would keep count of those 7 days. But what a coincidence then it was that, you know, the minority MPs decided only then, when Lydia was being sworn in, to accompany you to go see the police. What would be your reaction to that?
Well, you should be asking the police why they chose to call me at that time. It was, like I stated, we didn't just wake up and go to the police headquarters. I was invited by the police service. I was invited by the police CID. They placed the call this morning.
Oh, at the time the swearing-in was going on?
I got the call about 10 minutes before the swearing-in started. So, again, like I said, I have no control over what time the police get to invite any citizen to aid the investigation. I got the call 10 minutes to the swearing-in, and I just informed leadership about it.
I see. Now, if you didn't tell us now, we'd think that this was orchestrated, given the placards that you were wielding, which many people have taken offense of. The bloody widow comment on your placards. A lot of people think, particularly, the deputy majority leader did say after you left that it was disrespectful to widows in the country. Your reaction to that?
I don't intend to engage in, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. And so if they express their opinion, that's their opinion. I mean, it's up to Ghanaians. That is in a school of thought that is asking if Madam Seyram Alhassan is a widow, properly so-called. I mean, we saw the obituary of the late Boycotts. She wasn't cited as a widow. So there's a school of thought that even asked the question that, is she a widow properly so-called? I mean, for me, this discussion about semantics and words is neither here nor there. For me, the most important issue here is the unseen before level of violence and state-sponsored taboo that we saw last week Thursday. That, for me, is what the issue is. We cannot sit and we will not allow the subject matter to be changed. The discussion is about the 18 people who were injured by thugs close and armed by the Republic of Ghana, by the President of the Republic of Ghana. It is, the discussion is about 8 people who were shot and are injured and are 37.
Right.
Who were attacked by thugs who were armed by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. That's what the discussion is about.
Right. Now, given your narration now, you have a problem with the process. Why take it out on the winner or the outcome of the process, which is the widow? Why take it out on her and wield placards that insult her?
Keminni, let's not even go far. Who is the ultimate beneficiary of the violence that we saw last week Thursday? Who is the ultimate beneficiary? You cannot separate her from that process. And some have even asked the question that on her way to Parliament today, was she minded to even pay a visit to the victims? Since last Thursday, has she been minded to denounce the violence? No. It means she endorses it. It means she is happy about the violence that was occasioned on citizens of this republic. So how can you want us for us to separate her from the violence? She's not been minded to even condemn the violence. Even if it will be hypocritical, at least do it for the record. She's not been able to denounce the violence. She's not been able to visit the victims. She drove past 37 on her way to Parliament today. I mean, you cannot divorce her from this act of violence. I mean, it will be hypocritical to do that.
Very
or
well.
even attempt it.
Very well. So, as lawmakers, if you do not like if you have concerns about the process that has crowned Lydia Seyram Alhassan as MP for Ayawaso West Wuogon, why wouldn't you resort to the courts? Why? What seems to be political pressure?
Who says there's a statute of limitations that has stopped that from going to court? I mean, this happened how many days ago? If you're going to go to court, you would need to put together a solid case with evidence. You don't just run to court and say, oh, my Lord, this is what was said. You put together a solid case. It's been less than a week.
I see. So do I take it as you are now gathering your evidence for court?
I have not said so. I'm simply saying that the option to go to court is still a very valid option that exists for the NDC. And if you want to go to court, it's not something that you would do in 3 days. If you don't go to court 72 hours after an election to launch a solid election petition. The elections of December 2012 were held on the 7th of December. President Akufo-Addo did not go to court until sometime in March. You understand me? And so there are processes. And I'm saying that it will be unfair to suggest that 72 hours after the election or about 96 hours after the election, because you've not seen a court case, that suggests that there's an unwillingness to go to court.
Very well. Honorable, I'm grateful for your time. Sam George is MP for my constituency, Ningo Prom. We've been having a conversation about the action they took today. Apparently, he explains to us that it really wasn't planned. Rather, he was called in by the police. What a coincidence that was then. We'll be right back.
A new day comes with a new hustle. My name is Shatawale. I started on the streets. They tried to hold us back, but we kept moving. I worked hard because I knew one day I would play hard.
Yo, we work hard, we play hard, yeah. Cause I record. Stop energy, stop energy, stop energy, stop energy, stop energy, stop energy. As I keep stop energy, as I keep stop energy, as I keep stop energy.
Storm energy drink. Work hard, play hard.
Everybody said I'm loving.
To anyone who ever pushed me to go further.
One more.
To anyone who ever gave me a hand up. To those who work together to set the bar higher. To those who give me the energy to go further. This is my team, and my team makes me.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
As if one was not enough, not two but three of your favorite electronics and home appliances brands are combining powers to bring you the Electroland Triple Treat promotion. Hey, this bronya, buy your 32-inch Samsung satellite TV for 999 Ghana cedis. Those tall 500-watt Bluetooth speakers for 1,399 Ghana cedis. NASCO TV for 699 Ghana cedis. The standing freezer for 1,699 Ghana cedis. And the fan for 139 Ghana cedis. And you also get that media display fridge for 1,799 Ghana cedis. High tech. This bronya, you go shop tire. Take off Electroland is giving you that triple treat discount and freebies when you buy Samsung, Media or NASCO. Visit our all-new premium showrooms on the Spintex Road, Kumasi, Kasi Road, and Takrady. Awesome! Visit us now. Electroland Bronya triple treat promotion they wait you.
Welcome back. This is News Tonight. Union for International Cancer Control cautions developing countries, including Ghana, about a possible continuous surge in cancer cases if priority is not given to cancer control and care. Statistics suggest that 15 million people contract cancers, with 10 million dying of cancer annually. Out of this, over 70% emanate from developing countries.
Kumasi was last year chosen alongside Paraguay, Colombia and Myanmar as the fourth city for the Cancer City Challenge project by the Union of International Cancer Control. Statistics suggest that 15 million people contract cancers every year, with 10 million people losing their lives. Over 70% of this statistic comes from underdeveloped and developing countries. The vision of the cancer project, dubbed C/CAN 2025, is to eradicate the rate of cancers across the world by the year 2025 by 25%. The epic event, held at the Great Hall of the KNUST, brought together policymakers, medics, students, advocacy organizations and religious leaders to identify with a call to action themed "I Am, I Will." The president of the UICC and Princess of Jordan, Dina Mered, called on the state to prioritize the establishment of infrastructure and advocacy for cancer care in Ghana.
Private sector should join in and help, once the executive committee have the plan, come in and say, what can I do to buy you to donate this machine or to do this? Everybody has to help. This is what happened in Jordan. The whole community rose up so we can improve cancer care. And Ghana, Kumasi can do it.
First Lady Rebecca Ekufuado called for a revolution in the health consciousness of the populace.
So many other diseases, including HIV, malaria, and other infections, presented such need that not many people anticipated the burden of cancer in Ghana, which means the infrastructure needed to treat cancer has not caught up with the disease. This unfortunate trend needs to change, and Ghana joins many nations to applaud the UICC for the laudable City Centre Challenge initiative.
Chief Executive Officer of Breast Care International, Dr. Beatrice Wiefiadai, believes the choice of Kumasi for the Cancer City Challenge presents a big responsibility for the city to shine the torch in cancer control measures on the world stage.
Having Kumasi as a cancer city is a very great stride, and it's the first city in Africa to be chosen. So it's a lot for us. We need to actually, it's an advantage, but it's also a challenge because it puts us to task that we need to do a lot, both in awareness creation and education, prevention, treatment, and post-treatment rehabilitation.
A survivor shared a story.
The key word is early detection and prompt action. So if you detect any unusual things in the breast, don't hesitate to report to the hospital. The myths and misconceptions surrounding the disease is too much. I'm in the positive family history, meaning I'm the third person in my family to be diagnosed of breast cancer. But
just went straight to the hospital. I did not visit the herbal center. I did not go to the prayer camps. I know it's a hospital disease, so I should tackle it at the hospital.
Coming up now is business.
Business Brief is brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
The Public Utility Regulatory Commission has extended the announcement of new utility tariffs. The chairman of the technical committee of the PURC, Ishmael Ejekumihene, confirmed though the commission had completed its consultations with necessary stakeholders on the tariff review, the extension of the concessionaire's takeover of ECG prompted the postponement of the tariff announcement.
The new tariffs will take effect on March 1, 2019, after the announcement. This is to allow utility service providers sufficient time to adjust their machines and data. At the public hearing last month, representatives of the Power Distribution Services Ghana Limited made various presentations to justify their proposed tariff adjustment in order to reflect their operational costs. For instance, the ECG proposed a 23 pesos upward tariff adjustment per kilowatt hour. Gridco proposed 4 cedis 897 pesos per kilowatt hour. Netco proposed 43 pesos per kilowatt hour. And EPC proposed 26 pesos per kilowatt hour for the 2019 utility tariff review. However, the Ghana Water Company Limited was silent on any upward utility tariff review. The Association of Ghana Industries says Ghanaian businesses will be overburdened if the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission approves the recently proposed tariff increases without ensuring that efficiency in the power value chain is improved. The Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industries also indicated that any upward review of tariffs will affect industry.
All businesses in the country, we are hoping that there will be no upward adjustment, but rather downwards. Because in reality, we are in a competitive global world today. And electricity
to reduce the pressure of customers having to pay insurance premiums upfront, especially in cases when it is inconvenient for them to do so. A key promise of Bayport and Star Assurance, which will jointly roll out this insurance policy to clients, is to provide an all-inclusive financial solution suited to the needs of a broad consumer base through embracing technology, product leadership and innovation. In addition to a variety of competitive products the two financial entities offer, customers can now be assured of a solid motor policy. Head of Commercial Services at Bayport Savings and Loans PLC spells out the immense benefits of this new insurance policy.
With a huge customer base of 130,000 customers, what it does means is that we are coming along with this pool of 130,000 customers to cross-sell this insurance product. So it means that it's going to take this penetration target in terms of contribution from Bayport to a notch higher. Secondly, to our customers who are been yearning for 1 point in terms of looking for financial solutions, not just loans, it means that in terms of convenience, we are getting closer to our customers in terms of providing insurance convenience through another platform.
Star Assurance, a provider of insurance cover for over 2 decades, considers this new bank assurance a strategic partnership towards conveniently rolling out a motor insurance policy which will be accessible to a wide array of consumers. Head of Bank Assurance at Star Assurance, Bridget Opoku-Sarkodie, says this new Bayport Motor Insurance introduces an innovative and comprehensive payment plan to keep consumers better poised to uphold their insurance commitments.
Usually when you want to buy comprehensive motor insurance, you are told to pay an annual premium. Some will prorate it and break it into 3 months for you. We are doing monthly cover. So we break it into 12 equal monthly repayments. So you pay it slowly at your pace. Every month you pay, we give you cover. Every month you pay, we give you cover. So you are not under any stress to go and borrow money just to get cover. Because you know motor insurance is compulsory in Ghana. And so it's very, very, very unique.
Bayport Savings and Loans PLC and Star Assurance have officially completed all regulatory requirements and have received approval from Bank of Ghana and the National Insurance Commission to jointly roll out this motor insurance policy.
Sounds like a good idea. But you know what else is a good idea? You staying on with us. I'll be right back.
Business Brief is brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
When we join our hands, it means that we are one. It means we stand, believe, and rise together. Because when our hands are joined, our hearts are joined too. And when all our hearts beat as one, extraordinary things become possible every day. The more you drink awake water, the more we can help keep hearts awake. For every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana.
What is beauty? Is it full, dark shining hair and radiant skin? Is it 50 shades of melanin perfect with hair that is not afraid to explore, to wear it up, or let it down? Is it a stylish aura or an alluring glow, full of character? Is it a cute and irresistible charm, or a simply gorgeous smile? Beauty is whatever you make it to be. So, rule your beauty with GHOne Cosmetics. GHOne Cosmetics. Rule your beauty.
The Ghana Trade Fair Company brings you the 23rd Ghana International Trade Fair under the theme Made in Ghana, Globally Accepted. Date 28th February to 11th March 2019. Checked. Venue, the Ghana Trade Fair Company Law. Checked. What's next? You have to register. Yes, today. Agriculture, fashion, food processing, check ekrasi.com, tourism, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and just any product or service. Rush to register, exhibit, sell, network, and be globally accepted. Get involved in the 23rd Ghana International Exhibition. Call
0241 818658, 0555 528817, or 0552 474632.
Or visit www.tradefairgh.com for further inquiries. Made in Ghana, globally accepted. Sponsors, media partners.
Thanks for staying here with us. Coming up is GHOne. What about a romantic and super intimate night out with that person you love? Imagine a serene atmosphere with serenading music, roses, and mouth-watering delicacies that will blow your mind. Now, that is what the GHOne TV Duvet experience is all about.
Love, they say, is a beautiful thing, and the feeling, of course, is unrivaled. For the sake of the emotional attachment it comes with, love becomes the binding force in the face of conflicts, misunderstanding, betrayal, among other heartbreaking circumstances. However, it does not only end there. The bedroom is another ball game altogether, and the duvet experience is packaged to offer you that excitement. With Valentine's Day rearing its love head, the duvet experience seeks to spice the romantic rendezvous of lovers. Nancy Adobia, the host of the program, shares more on what to expect.
It's going to be an amazing night of love and great music, bonding. You know, there are so many things that we talk on duvet that we want our viewers to actually experience live. So we make suggestions of how you're supposed to hold your partner. You would get to experience that. What your partner should wear to seduce you. How do you seduce your own husband? We would have things available for you to see it like for real, so that you know that we are not just bragging. This is reality.
The duvet experience is scheduled for Saturday, February 16th at the Alisa Hotel.
95-0560-737374. It's the Duvet Experience, brought to you by GHOne TV, your best love experience.
Or be there or miss out. Next is international news. Russia says it is planning to develop new missile systems after both Russia and the U.S. suspended their involvement in an arms control pact. The Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty banned both countries from using short and medium-range missiles. Last week, U.S. President Donald Trump announced the U.S. would leave the pact, which it has long accused the Russians of violating. Russia then did the same. The move has raised concerns about a new arms race. The INF was signed in 1987 during the Cold War to ease a crisis in which U.S. and the Soviet Union missiles were placed within range of European capitals. Well, in sports, Jose Mourinho has admitted to tax fraud, accepting a one-year prison sentence. That's coming up in sports.
Jose Mourinho was accused of owing about $3,800,000 to Spanish tax authorities from his time managing Real Madrid. Prosecutors said Mourinho, a Portuguese national, had created offshore companies in the British Virgin Islands and elsewhere to manage his image rights and hide the earnings from tax officials. They argue that it was designed to obscure his financial gains from such deals, and he left it uncleared in his tax statement after he moved to Spain. Mourinho is the latest